Have you ever thought that reheating a simple, healthy meal could silently sabotage your health? You pull leftovers from the fridge, pop them in the microwave, and feel good about making a quick, smart food choice. But what if that innocent, routine something millions of people do every single day is actually exposing you to hidden toxins, silent inflammation, and long-term damage to your brain, heart, and gut? Here's a chilling truth. Certain everyday foods, when reheated, can undergo chemical transformations that turn them from health heroes into hidden hazards. These aren't exotic or processed junk foods. No, these are foods you've likely praised for years. Scientific studies and real-world medical findings now show that when these foods are reheated, especially in microwaves or stored improperly, they can form dangerous compounds linked to cancer, digestive disorders, and even cognitive decline. And the worst part? You won't see it, smell it, or taste it. The threat is invisible. This is especially alarming for adults over 50, whose bodies naturally become more vulnerable to toxins and inflammation. A food that seemed harmless in your 30s could become a slow-burning risk in your 60s or 70s. But don't worry. Awareness is your greatest defense. In this video, we're going to uncover the top 5 foods you should never reheat, backed by real science, explained in plain English, and tailored especially for those who care about long-term health, memory, and vitality. You'll not only learn what to avoid, but why, and most importantly, how to safely enjoy these foods without compromising your well-being. If you've ever reheated last night's dinner without a second thought, this video might just change the way you cook, eat, and store food forever. Stay with us until the end. You may be shocked by what you learn, but you'll walk away smarter, safer, and more in control of your health than ever before. Point 1. White rice. White rice is a staple in countless American households. It's affordable, versatile, and pairs perfectly with everything from stir-fry and stews to grilled meats and vegetables. For many, it's the ultimate comfort food. But if you're in the habit of reheating leftover rice, especially in the microwave, there's a hidden danger you might not be aware of, particularly if you're over the age of 50. The problem lies not in the rice itself, but in how it's stored and reheated. Cooked rice that is left at room temperature for too long becomes a breeding ground for a bacterium called Bacillus cereus. This bacterium can survive the initial cooking process in the form of spores and multiply rapidly if the rice is not cooled and stored properly. When reheated, especially using uneven heating methods like the microwave, these bacteria may produce toxins that are not destroyed by heat, meaning even hot rice can still make you sick. For older adults, the consequences can be more severe. As we age, our immune systems naturally weaken and our digestive systems become more sensitive. What might cause a mild stomach upset in a younger person could lead to dehydration, fatigue, or more serious complications in someone over 50. Symptoms of Bacillus cereus food poisoning include nausea, vomiting, abdominal cramps, and diarrhea, usually within a few hours of eating. So, what can you do to protect yourself? First, never leave cooked rice sitting out at room temperature for more than 1 to 2 hours. Store leftovers promptly in the refrigerator in an airtight container. When reheating, make sure the rice is steaming hot all the way through. Better yet, avoid reheating altogether by only cooking as much rice as you need for one meal or enjoy leftover rice cold in dishes like rice salads. By being mindful of how you handle white rice, you can continue enjoying this delicious grain without putting your health at risk, especially as your body becomes more vulnerable with age. 2. Reheated seafood. Seafood is often praised for its heart-healthy omega-3 fatty acids, lean protein, and essential minerals like zinc, selenium, and iodine. Shrimp, salmon, tilapia, scallops, and other fish or shellfish are a big part of many diets across America, especially for older adults. looking to reduce red meat and support brain and heart health. But if you regularly reheat seafood, especially in the microwave, you might be turning a nutritious meal into a potential health risk. Seafood is extremely sensitive to temperature changes and highly perishable. Once it's cooked, its delicate proteins and fats begin to break down quickly. When seafood is reheated, especially using high heat or uneven microwave settings, these proteins can degrade even further, releasing compounds that may cause digestive issues or promote inflammation in the body. The reheated texture and smell, often rubbery and overly fishy, are signs of chemical changes that make seafood less palatable and harder to digest. More importantly, seafood that hasn't been stored properly can harbor harmful bacteria, like Listeria monocytogenes or Vibrio species. These bacteria can multiply if cooked seafood is left at room temperature for too long before refrigeration. Reheating won't always destroy these pathogens, especially if the seafood doesn't reach a safe internal temperature throughout. And for adults over 50, whose immune systems may not be as robust, foodborne illness can result in more serious complications, such as prolonged gastrointestinal distress, dehydration, and even hospitalization. Additionally, repeatedly heating the polyunsaturated fats found in fish can lead to the formation of lipid oxidation products, unstable compounds that contribute to oxidative stress in the body, potentially increasing the risk of cardiovascular and neurological diseases over time. To reduce these risks, aim to cook only the seafood you'll eat fresh. If you do store leftovers, refrigerate them immediately in airtight glass containers and eat them within 1 to 2 days. When reheating, skip the microwave and use a low-heat method like steaming or gentle pan heating to preserve texture and avoid uneven cooking. Better yet, enjoy leftover seafood cold in a salad or sandwich. For older adults, small changes in food handling can make a big difference. Avoiding reheated seafood is a simple way to protect your digestive system, reduce inflammation, and maintain long-term vitality. 3. Eggs are one of nature's most perfect foods, affordable, packed with high-quality protein, rich in brain-boosting choline, and loaded with essential vitamins like B12 and D. Whether scrambled for breakfast, hard-boiled for a snack, or added to casseroles and quiches, eggs are a dietary staple for many people over 50 who are focused on heart and brain health. But here's something you might not know. Reheating cooked eggs, especially in the microwave, could quietly be harming your health. The danger lies in what happens to the cholesterol in eggs when they are exposed to high or uneven heat. A second time during the initial cooking process, the cholesterol in egg yolks remains stable. But when eggs are reheated, particularly in a microwave, the cholesterol can oxidize, forming compounds known as oxysterols. These oxidized cholesterol particles are inflammatory and have been linked to an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative conditions, and memory decline. What makes this even more concerning is that older adults are more vulnerable to the effects of dietary inflammation. As we age, our bodies process fats less efficiently, our arteries become less elastic, and our brains become more sensitive to toxins and inflammatory triggers. That seemingly harmless reheated egg could, over time, contribute to chronic low-grade inflammation, impacting everything from your energy levels to your cognitive clarity. The signs might not be obvious. You may feel more sluggish after breakfast, experience mild bloating, or simply chalk it up to getting older. But the way your food is prepared matters, sometimes even more than what's on your plate. To stay safe, prioritize eating eggs fresh after cooking. If you batch cook hard-boiled eggs, enjoy them cold in salads, sandwiches, or as quick snacks. If reheating is unavoidable, use low and even heat, such as on the stovetop, and never reheat eggs multiple times. these small, mindful habits can help you continue enjoying the nutritional power of eggs without the hidden risks that could quietly affect your long-term health. 4. Creamy danger. Creamy sauces, mac and cheese, chowders, casseroles, milk-based dishes are rich, comforting, and deeply satisfying. For many older adults, they're nostalgic staples of home cooking and family gatherings. But as comforting as they may be, reheating milk-based dishes, especially in the microwave, can quietly turn them into a source of health problems. Particularly if you're over 50. The issue lies in the delicate structure of dairy proteins and fats, which are highly sensitive to heat. When dishes containing milk, cream, cheese, or butter are reheated, especially at high temperatures, they often separate, forming a greasy layer and a curdled texture. This isn't just unappetizing. It signals chemical changes that can make the dish harder to digest and less nutritious. More concerning, repeated exposure to high heat can cause oxidation of dairy fats, forming compounds that promote inflammation, a key driver of chronic diseases like heart disease, arthritis, and even Alzheimer's. These oxidized fats are especially risky for older adults, whose bodies are more sensitive to inflammatory triggers and slower to recover from dietary stress. Milk-based dishes also tend to be high in saturated fat and sodium, and when reheated, these compounds can become even more difficult to process, putting added strain on the digestive system, liver, and cardiovascular health. For those who are lactose intolerant, a condition that becomes more common with age, reheating dairy only intensifies digestive symptoms like bloating, cramps, and discomfort. So how can you still enjoy your favorite creamy meals without the risks? First, try to cook smaller portions so there's no need to reheat leftovers. If you do have leftovers, store them promptly in airtight glass containers and reheat gently on the stovetop, stirring constantly and using low heat to prevent separation and preserve texture. Avoid reheating in the microwave, which heats unevenly and causes more rapid degradation. By being intentional with how you store and reheat milk-based dishes, you can continue enjoying their rich flavors while protecting your heart, digestion, and overall well-being as you age. 5. Reheating chicken is a staple protein in many American diets, praised for being lean, affordable, and versatile. Whether it's grilled for a healthy lunch, roasted for dinner, or prepped in bulk for meal planning, chicken is often viewed as a safe and nutritious option, especially for adults over 50 looking to maintain muscle mass and heart health. But what most people don't realize is that reheating cooked chicken, particularly in a microwave or at high temperatures, can quietly turn this healthy choice into a source of digestive issues and systemic inflammation. When chicken is first cooked, the proteins denature, changing structure in a way that makes them easier to digest. However, reheating these proteins, especially using high or uneven heat, causes them to go through a second transformation. This makes the protein structure more rigid and difficult to break down, leading to bloating, discomfort, or sluggish digestion symptoms that become more pronounced as our digestive enzymes naturally decline with age. Even more concerning is the formation of advanced glycation end products, AGEs, during reheating. AGEs are compounds that form when proteins and fats are exposed to high temperatures, especially when reheated multiple times. Studies have linked AGEs to chronic inflammation, a known contributor to serious health conditions, including heart disease, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, and arthritis. For people over 50, whose systems are more sensitive to inflammation and slower to recover, repeated exposure to AGEs can gradually wear down the body's resilience and increase the risk of age-related diseases. So, what's the solution? If possible, enjoy leftover chicken cold, such as in salads, wraps, or cold pasta dishes. Cold chicken retains its texture, avoids reheating-related chemical changes, That is just as satisfying with the right seasoning or dressing. If reheating is necessary, avoid the microwave. Instead, gently warm chicken over low heat on the stovetop, using a covered pan to retain moisture and ensure even heating. This method helps preserve the protein's integrity and reduces the formation of harmful compounds. As we age, how we prepare and handle food matters more than ever. By being mindful of how you reheat chicken, you can continue to enjoy this nutritious food without adding unnecessary stress to your body. As we grow older, our bodies become more sensitive to the things we once took for granted, including how we prepare, store, and reheat our food. What seems like a harmless habit, such as reheating yesterday's chicken or microwaving leftover rice, can quietly contribute to long-term health issues like inflammation, digestive discomfort, heart disease, and even cognitive decline. 4. Adults over 50, these small details matter. They can be the difference between feeling energized and feeling sluggish, between clarity of mind and persistent fog, between aging well and aging with complications. The good news? You don't need to overhaul your diet. You just need to become more mindful in the kitchen. Avoiding the reheating of certain foods like rice, eggs, seafood, chicken, and milk-based dishes can drastically reduce your exposure to harmful compounds like nitrosamines, oxidized fats, AGEs, and dangerous bacteria. Instead, choose safer alternatives. Eat leftovers cold when possible. Use gentle stovetop reheating methods. And store your food properly to preserve its safety and nutrition. Every meal is an opportunity to care for your future self. The choices you make today, no matter how small, can support your vitality, protect your brain and heart, and help you continue enjoying life with strength and clarity. At Elderly Stories, we believe wisdom doesn't just come with age. It comes from awareness and action. If this video helped you learn something new, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our future tips on healthy aging, memory support, and everyday choices that protect your long-term health. And we'd love to hear from you. Comment below with one thing you learned today, or share a kitchen habit you've decided to change after watching this. Your story is still being written. Let's make it a strong, healthy one together. Subscribe now to Elderly Stories, where age brings power, not problems.